evening. Namaste. Om Sagana Bhavatu Sagana Bhunatu Sagaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvina Namastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Pranams to Thakur, Swamiji. Pranams to Swami Sarvapriyanandaji. Namaste to everybody. Good evening to you all. Today about the logistics. Between 4 to 5 p.m. we will have discourse by Swami Sarvapriyanandaji on Nectar on Supreme Knowledge. We have a book which Swami will be talking about during the next sessions, and it's available in the front desk. Please, you can collect if you like. And between 5 to 5:30 we have Q&A session with Swami. Then if you have small time, 5 minutes, that is, we'll have a small stretch break. Between 5:30 to 6:10 p.m. we will have Aarti and meditation. Then 6:15 p.m. it will be prasad to go, and we will adjourn for the day. Today evening we are blessed to have our Swami Sarvapriyanandaji, who has been helping us and just coming. We are blessed to have him every alternate months, at least sometimes even on consecutive months. About Swami, Swami Sarvapriyanandaji has been the minister and spiritual leader of Vedanta Society of New York since January 2017. He joined the Ramakrishna Mutt in 1994 and received sannyasa in 2004. He served as an acharya, meaning teacher, of the Monastic Professional Training Center at Belur, India. He also served in various capacities in different educational institutes of Ramakrishna Mission in India and as the Assistant Minister of Vedanta Society of Southern California. During 2019-2020, Swami was an inaugural fellow at the Harvard Divinity School. Swami Sarvapriyanandaji is a well-known speaker on Vedanta, and his talks are extremely popular globally via the internet. He has been a speaker on various prestigious forums such as TEDx, SAND, Google Talk, etc. He has also been invited to speak at several universities across the world, including Harvard. The Swami has engaged in dialogue with many eminent thinkers such as Deepak Chopra, Rupert Spira, Rick Archer, David Chalmers, and Sam Harris. Swami has played a prominent role in organizing and participating in various interfaith panels and seminars, including speaking at the World Parliament of Religions in Toronto in 2018 and at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Some of Swami Sarvapriyananda's popular talks have been compiled into ebooks: Who Am I? What is Vedanta? And Dissolve into Infinity, which are all available in Amazon Kindle. We can go on and speak about Swami, that is for the day, entire the day. With this brief introduction, on behalf of VVCC, I request Swami to give his discourse and session this afternoon. Thank you all. Namaste.
So before we start, we're thinking that it would be a good idea to just remember revered Swami Smarananandaji Maharaj, who's the president of the Ramakrishna Mutt and Ramakrishna Mission, who just passed a few days ago. So, you want me to read this out? Or? No,
yes, I just kept it just in case for your reference. I just put Swami's.
Oh, yeah, put it up there. All right, yes. So. He was 94 years old, and he had been the president since I think 2017. Yes, 2017. He was the president of our order, the entire global Ramakrishna Math mission. He was the 16th president of our order. So what I thought we'll do is just for a minute, we'll meditate in silence on Sri Ramakrishna. The usual procedure is to, we pray for the peace of the departed soul. The leader doesn't need our prayers for his peace because it's not appropriate in the case of a very senior sannyasi like him, very advanced sannyasi like him, who we are sure has attained oneness with the divine. But we benefit by meditation on this occasion. For a minute, I'll stop here, and after a minute, I'll chant Om 3 times, and then we will proceed. Namaste and good evening, everybody. And if it's possible, could you sit together a little more closely? It's easier for me to address you as a group. You don't have to cram together, just a little more closely. That would be nice. Whatever is comfortable. It's more like a classroom in that case. The idea is to have like a classroom here. This is for me?
Yes.
Thank you. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, in Bengali, Advaita Gyana Achale Vedya Jai Chitai Karo. Tie the knowledge of Advaita to the hem of your cloth and then do whatever you like. And the hem of your cloth is something that Indians will understand, Indian women, because in the saris, it was the tradition in Indian households earlier. They would tie the keys of the household to the hem of the sari. So like that, you tie the knowledge of Advaita. Basically, base yourself on this knowledge of non-duality. And Sri Ramakrishna says, base yourself on this knowledge of non-duality and do whatever you like. What does he mean, do whatever you like? I interpret it in this way. Know this truth. Realize it to the extent, get clarity about it. I'm not even saying that you become fully enlightened. Get clarity about this. Then base your devotional life, bhakti, devotion to God on this. You can have a meditative life, yoga. You can have a life of service and doing good to others. Or a combination of all of these as we do in the Ramakrishna order. Whatever you like. But really, you will get peace if you base your life on this non-dual knowledge. That is a given, that's a guarantee. Peace, fulfillment, an armor against suffering. An armor against suffering will be protected against the terrible suffering this world has to throw towards us. So, the benefits of this are endless. I remember once, in fact, I was a novice at that time, a brahmachari, asking one of our teachers in Vedanta. Um, I was actually influenced by an American philosopher, pragmatism, William James, Charles Peirce, and so on. I asked him, to oversimplify this philosophy, it's, some people oversimplify it as a cash value philosophy. The test of truth is, does it work? The test of truth is, does it work? That's called pragmatism. Oversimplifying. If anybody's got a degree in philosophy, you'll have to give me a pass on this one. So I asked this Swami that was teaching us Vedanta, what's the value, the utility? What's the use of this philosophy, Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta, that you are this non-dual truth, you are Brahman? Two answers he gave me, and that's from Vivekananda, actually, from Vivekananda himself. The first answer is, why should it have any utility? Truth is valuable for its own sake. And then Vivekananda actually went on to say, in those days when Vivekananda came here first, the latest technology was electricity. At that time, in the World Parliament of Religions, Tesla was there demonstrating his direct current, I think, and Edison, Tesla was demonstrating alternating current, and Edison was demonstrating direct current. But that was the latest technology. Strange that even today the latest technology is Tesla. The car, not. So Vivekananda used the example of electricity. He said, it's like a baby asking, what good is electricity? What does it do? Will it give me lollipops? Of course, we know electricity has tremendous benefits. All of this, and all of this. And then Vivekananda goes on to say, having said that, however, this philosophy has the greatest benefit of all. And that Swami who was teaching us said the same thing to us. It removes all your suffering and gives you endless, everlasting fulfillment. What more could you want? That's all we want in life. And the claim is it is possible, and that this teaching will give it to you. Of course, there's a catch here. Vedanta is very clever that way. Vedanta will actually tell us this everlasting fulfillment, this transcendence of sorrow that we are all seeking. It's already ours. We just don't know it. Vedanta just conveys it to us, points it up. Look, you've got it there. And then we see for ourselves. And it's so simple and so direct, so tremendous, so powerful. I mean, since we are a close group here, and I hope we'll be together on this journey over the next several months, I can say without being, sounding too egregious, my feeling is if you can do Advaita Vedanta, why do anything else? This is the highest thing that I've ever come across. This is literally the best thing that I've come across in all my reading of the sacred and philosophical literatures of the East and the West. This is matchless. And I would like to convey some of the excitement of this to you and the benefits of this to you. The way we'll do it is, we'll have about an hour of the teaching, followed by half an hour of what I hope will be closed discussions. Closed discussions in the sense, since this is a group which is going to take this journey together, let's build on the teachings. Instead of bringing in, random questions from all over the world, let's confine ourselves to this Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. If this, whatever the teaching is, if you can confine your questions to that, that's great. Or in general to Vedanta, or general to spiritual philosophy, at least that's the widest we should go. Don't bring in AI and genetics and the latest politics. All those are important and good. I mean, I'm usually open to all sorts of questions, but I'd like us to be more focused here so that we can benefit and use whatever time we have got together. Now, this truth can be conveyed very easily. There can be these texts are vehicles for conveying this truth, the non-dual truth. And I keep saying this truth. What is this truth? This truth can be conveyed in brief sentences. All of Vedanta is conveyed in this brief sentence. Brahman is real, the world is an appearance, and you are Brahman. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmaiva Napara. Shankaracharya, this sentence is associated with him. This sentence is used to characterize all of Vedanta, basically, the central theme. It can be even more compacted. The message can be made even more compact. You are that. Tattvamasi. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Ultimate reality. Can be made even more compact. Om. Just Om. If you interpret Om, you can unpack Om, you'll get the entirety of the non-dual Vedanta. But it can be expanded. It has to be expanded. You can't just say you are that. That what? We'll be lost. What are you trying to say? So it can be expanded and should be. So the Vedanta, these texts all convey the same message. This message which I just said, you are Brahman. The message is very clear. Let's not have any two views upon this. There is nothing else that Vedanta is saying. We have to understand what it says and how it is true, how it applies to me, and how do I see this truth and get benefit from it. That's the whole course, what it's about. All these texts convey the same message. The original texts we know of Advaita Vedanta are the Upanishads. There is a body of texts found in the Vedas, which are the most ancient texts of the Hindu religion. These Upanishads together are known as Vedanta. The definition of Vedanta is Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramanam. The source of spiritual knowledge called Vedanta, or called Upanishads, is Vedanta. Even the words Vedanta, Veda, Anta. Veda means to know literally, but it also refers to the body of texts called Vedas. And Anta means end. So it doesn't refer to the physical end of the text, though sometimes the Upanishads are found at the end of the Vedic collections. But what it means is end in the sense of final teachings, highest teachings, conclusions. There's a word in Sanskrit, Siddhanta. Siddhanta means final conclusion. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? If you ask the Vedas this question, you get the answer in the Upanishads. Then these Upanishads have been variously interpreted. It led to multiple schools of Vedanta. Basically, Vedanta then became the philosophy of Hinduism. If you ask what is Hinduism, what is Hinduism's worldview, what is the nature of the ultimate reality, what are we, what are the practices to be done, what is to be attained, all these questions, spiritual questions, these answers you find in Vedanta. But there are multiple flavors of Vedanta, multiple schools of Vedanta. Here we are interested in Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta. Our home tradition is that in the Ramakrishna order also. And that happens to be my favorite, no surprises there, my favorite brand of Vedanta. So we are going to confine ourselves to Advaita Vedanta. In Advaita Vedanta also, there is a whole range of texts. So the Upanishads are, of course, the common text for all Vedanta. And so is the Bhagavad Gita. If I want to take one text of Hinduism representative, it would be Bhagavad Gita. That's also a text of Vedanta. And then there is another text, a little more esoteric, not so well known, called the Brahma Sutras, which are a philosophical discussion, organization of the topics found in the Upanishads. These are common to all schools of Vedanta. Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras. Now, there are commentaries written on these Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras by Adi Shankaracharya, who lived about 1300 years ago. And they form the basis of the school of Advaita Vedanta, which we are talking about. And Advaita Vedanta has a whole range of texts, a vast literature in Sanskrit and also later on in other Indian languages and now in English too. Vivekananda's talks are also part of Advaita Vedanta. They are in English. Now, among these texts of Advaita Vedanta, I'm sort of telescoping down to this text, which we have in hand. Among these texts in Advaita Vedanta is a standalone text called the Yoga Vashishta. Yoga Vashishta is a very ancient text and of highly esteemed, especially among the monastics in the Advaita Vedanta tradition. So this Yoga Vashishta, it is set as a dialogue between the Prince Rama, Ramachandra, incarnation of God, Avatar. When he is a young prince, he reads Vedanta and he gets a dispassion for the world and is no longer interested in being the king. So he wants to give up everything and be a monk and go away and meditate and become enlightened. And naturally, his father, King Dasharatha, is worried. What's going to happen to the kingdom if this boy doesn't do what he's supposed to do? So he asks the royal sage Vashishta, who was the preceptor for their household, that please advise this prince so that he does fulfill his household duties. And then Vashishta goes to Ramachandra and asks him this perceptive question. It's good, O Prince, that you want to realize Brahman and become enlightened. That's good. And I hear you want to give up the world and become enlightened, search for enlightenment. But can you tell me, this Brahman that you are searching for, is it something different? Is this world that you're going to give up something different from that Brahman you're searching for? That which you're looking for, that which you're searching for. Is that something different, and this world is something different that you want to give it up? And that leads to a series of dialogues between Ramachandra and the sage Vasishta. And there Vasishta gives him the highest non-dual teaching, Advaitic teaching to Ramachandra. Now these teachings, there are philosophical teachings, there are stories. It's an amazing text. I hope one day they make some science fiction movies out of it. There are so many wonderful stories out there, very much like science fiction stories and all. But the text is huge, 30,000 plus verses. And I have not read the whole text, I've just read it here and there. Now what happened was, about 500, 600 years ago, we are not sure, some unknown person, probably a monk, condensed the Yoga Vasishta into the essence of Yoga Vasishta Sara, this text, Yoga Vasishta Sara. What he did was, he took about 250 or 220, 230 odd verses, the core philosophical teachings, spiritual teachings from the entire text, and arranged them in 10 chapters. So that became the essence of Yoga Vasishta Sara. Then in our time, about 100 years ago, no, less than that, 70, 80 years ago, Swami Dhireshanandaji, who was a great monk of our order, a very dedicated non-dualist Advaitin. I have not met him, but others, I know so many who have met him. He translated the Yoga Vasishta Sara from Sanskrit into Bengali, and then he enriched it with copious notes in this book. Many of you have this book, right? So in this book, you will find copious notes. So a lot of information about Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. So it's sort of enriched the original book. Now, this book is a bit of a favorite of mine because that Bengali translation with the notes was given to me by another monk, Swami Sarvapriyanandaji, Kalipada Maharaj, who used to live in Mumbai in the Ramakrishna Mission, later in our headquarters in Belur. But he passed away a few years ago at the age of 95. He was also a confirmed, very strong, staunch non-dualist. And I guess, and he liked you, especially if you liked Advaita Vedanta. And if you liked Advaita Vedanta, he would present you with this book, the Bengali book. And he presented me. I had got a copy more than 20 years ago. He wrote to me and gave it to me. And he was very happy that when I came to the United States, he said, go and spread Vedanta there, Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta. Tell them about non-dual Vedanta. I said, yes, Swami. He was a man of few words. But the few times I spoke to him over the phone, before he passed away, every time he expressed his satisfaction. He was not given to, saying a lot or using, terms of, not very American that way. Awesome. No, not that way. He would just say, I've heard you're doing that. Good. I'm happy. Now the thing is, I couldn't really talk about it because there was no English translation of this book. A few years back, Swami Sarvapriyanandaji Maharaj of the Vedanta Center Society in Hollywood, he translated, and that's the text that we have in our hands today. So thanks to him, we have a translation of the essence of Yoga Vasishta, with the translation of the notes provided by Swami Dhireshananda also. So it's a treasury of Vedantic knowledge. The original teachings are there from the essence of Yoga Vasishta, which are drawn upon the original Yoga Vasishta, and what the sage Vasishta taught to the Prince Rama. And then we have a lot of notes. What I propose to do is, we'll start today, and I will select verses to discuss in each class, because we are not going to go verse by verse. We don't have time for that. And I will discuss some of the subjects, very interesting subjects, issues raised by Swami Dhireshananda in these notes. So it will be a course in Advaita Vedanta. Remember, as I told you, all of these texts provide you with the same message. If you have studied Advaita Vedanta earlier, you will hear the same teaching now. You're going to study Advaita Vedanta later, you're going to hear the same teaching. In 100 different ways, 1,000 different ways. It's just the beauty of it. Simple, direct message, but it's hammered in. Mainly because we don't get it. So we have to be told again and again and again. And once you do get it, then what's the point of these texts? It's enjoyable. It confirms what you are seeing. And for those we are not enlightened, for us, it tells us what the truth is and it shows us. And for those of you who get it, we were very fortunate ones. For you, I've seen people whom one might consider enlightened, they use such texts as a support. They use it to point themselves to that truth, our real nature. All right, enough said. I'm going to start with the first verse, which is a magnificent verse. But those who have got the book, do read it. You don't skip the verses. Don't skip the introduction by Swami Direshanda also. There's a long introduction in Bengali. He wrote it in 1968. So we're going to go to the first chapter called Vairagya Prakarana, the chapter on detachment, non-attachment. I'm going to chant it, and then those who are, if you like, you can follow it. You can repeat after me. Dikkaladhyanavachinna, Dikkaladhyanavachinna. Did you get it? Verse number 1? It's on page 1. Yes. No brainer. Page 1. I'll repeat again. And those who are, if you're comfortable, you can chant after me. And the advantage of this is there is a Roman transliteration also, so you can follow along in that. Dikkaladhyanavachinna, Dikkaladhyanavachinna, Ananta Chinmatra Murtaye, Ananta Chinmatra Murtaye, Swanubhutye Kamanaya, Swanubhutye Kamanaya, Namah Shantaya Tejase, Namah Shantaya Tejase. I salute that Supreme Brahman, effulgent and tranquil, the embodiment of infinite consciousness alone, who is beyond all qualities, undivided by space, time, direction, and objects, and whose proof is one's own experience only. You could just go on and on this one verse. It's packed in so much. All right. This is what is called an auspicious invocation. In Sanskrit, Mangalacharana. So the tradition in these texts was to start with a chant, a verse composed as a respectful salutation to God and to your spiritual teacher. Here, the invocation is to the ultimate reality, to Brahman, the reality of this universe, which is, according to Vedanta, according to this teaching, which you are. So it's very interesting. The chant, the salutation is to your real nature. I, the apparent I, the unenlightened I, saluting my own real nature. Basically, is noting how cool you are. Yeah, that's right. This is your real nature, and this is really cool. Namaha, I salute. This Namaha salutation give you two meanings, deeper meanings, in a devotional sense, and it's not meant in a devotional sense, in the knowledge sense, jnana sense, in the sense of the knowledge approach. Devotional approach, knowledge approach. The devotional approach, normally when this word is used, namaha, very common throughout Sanskrit, just means salutations, bowing down, reverence, bowing down, reverence, salutations. The Sanskrit word, if you open it up, a philosopher, he made a play on this. He said, in Sanskrit, namaha means na mama, not mine. So every salutation is meant as an offering unto the divine, is an offering unto the divine. Remember, the most oldest form of religion in the Vedas is the sacrifice, the fire sacrifice. Something is offered into the sacrificial fire. But so too, it's the oldest form of religion across humanity. In every religion, if you go back to the origins, it's basically a sacrifice to the divine. The most primitive pre-civilization times also. Basically, the religion, origin of religion was as a sacrifice to some idea, some conception of divinity. In fact, somebody told me, if you trace back the origin of the word God, English to Old German, and back to some Norwegian or something, this Icelandic origin, the meaning was sacrifice of the word. Here, namaha means sacrifice. Na mama, not mine, it is thine. The original approach to this in the Vedas was idam na mama, idam indraya swaha. This is not mine, I offer this to what was mine, I offer it to the Vedic deity Indra, and so on. In devotional religion, this would mean a surrender of everything that I consider I, me, myself to the divine. Suppose I am devoted to Krishna or Rama or Ramakrishna, or since this is Easter, to Jesus. In some form, I worship God. This is the way in which I worship God. When you say namaha, I surrender everything mentally from my heart, all that I consider mine, all my wealth, my relationships, my all the what I own, my knowledge, my achievements, all that I've done, good and bad, everything in my life, whatever I consider my life to be, and this body, and this personality, me, myself, everything I offer to you, my Lord. And you do it again and again and again. What do you gain by that? You gain freedom. It's nice. God is very nice. He will not take it away. If you offer it, others might take it away. God won't take anything away from you. But internally, you gain a cleansing, a purification, a lightness, a freedom. That beautiful song we are hearing, that I have come into this world burdened with my sins. You lift me up, O sinless one. That's what you get when you surrender to the divine, when the finite surrenders to the infinite. I remember washing a bowl one day in our monastery on the bank of the Ganga in Belur, in India. And the monk said to me, there's tap water, little trickle of water. And you have to scrub, not much water. And he says, right by you is flowing the Ganga, tremendous stream of water. You immerse your bowl in that, immediately cleansed. Similarly, what he meant was not that I have to go to the Ganga. He meant that we have very little power as a limited sentient being. And there is an infinite source of power called God in all theistic religions. It's there. It's accessible to us through faith. Just have that much faith. Take advantage of that great power. Your needs will be met. You will be met. Your imperfections will be removed. All your sins will be washed away. Namaha. That's the devotional meaning. But that's not the meaning here. The meaning here is I contemplate that infinite divinity, that my real nature, and I see that I am giving up all my limitations, and I realize my infinity. Then what I'm doing by saying namaha. I'll explain at the end. Once we go through it, the whole thing will become clear. I am giving up those things which limit my infinite nature. I am one limitless existence consciousness place. And yet, I have, as it were, limited myself by identifying myself with this body and excluding everything else. Now, when I give up these limiting, what are called upadhis, limiting adjuncts, I immediately see my ever-present limitless nature. So these sound very abstract, but let me put it this way. It's like space, limitless space. Then you have pots. And in a pot, it seems that a little bit of space is enclosed in a pot. It seems little space, a small amount of space there. But is it true that the space there is small? It isn't. You see, it's the limitless space itself. It appears to be enclosed. Sri Ramakrishna said, put 10 pots there and then number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You will start calling those spaces space 1, space 2, space 3. But it's nothing like that at all. It is all the time, even when you have a pot and you don't have a pot, it's same limitless space. It's not that the pot encloses space, rather the pot is in the space. Space is not enclosed by the pot, it just appears that way. Similarly, we are limitless existence consciousness, we will see that, but we seem to be enclosed, limited by the presence of a body, by the presence of a mind and a personality. When you say Namaha, we see ourselves as we are, as the limitless space without the enclosing pot. We see ourselves as limitless consciousness without the enclosing body-mind. We will see how it sounds rather complicated. It isn't. It's actually pretty simple. We'll see. Now let's get into it. So this Namaha, salutations, this has to be connected with each one of these phrases. Dikkalabhyavan anavacchinnaya namaha. I salute. I bow down to that which is not limited by space, time, and object. Anantaya namaha. I bow down to that which is limitless and infinite. Chinmatra murtai namaha. I bow down to that which is consciousness alone, awareness alone. Swanubhutye kamanaya namaha. I bow down to that whose one indubitable proof is one's own experience, direct experience. Shantaya namaha. I bow down to the ever peaceful, beyond all suffering, ever fulfilled and peaceful. Tejase namaha. I bow down to that limitless radiance. So this namaha, connect with each one. Dikkala janavacchinnaya namaha. Anantaya namaha. Chinmatra murtai namaha. For those of you who are not following the Sanskrit, don't worry, I'm translating everything. So if you hear Sanskrit which you're not understanding, you're not missing anything because I've already translated that. I might just be repeating it. But the Sanskrit words, I'm including them because it's nice to hear it and it gives a certain power to it. Chinmatra murtaye namaha, swanubhutye kamanaya namaha, shantaya namaha, tejase namaha. What does Vedanta teach? That which is not limited by space, time, object. You is you. Anantaya namaha, salutations to the limitless. That which is limitless is you. Chinmatra murtaye namaha, that which is consciousness alone or awareness alone is you. Swanubhutye kamanaya namaha, salutations to that which is proved by one's own experience alone. That proved by one's own experience alone is you. Shantaya namaha, that which is peaceful beyond all suffering is you. Tejase namaha, limitless radiance, consciousness is you. This is the message. And we can actually, the beauty of Advaita Vedanta is that we can come to at least appreciate what it is teaching here and now. That's the claim. Advaita Vedanta, see, there are different paradigms of spirituality. There is the devotional paradigm of spirituality. God exists and you must have faith in God. Our spiritual texts tell us, our tradition tells us, spiritual masters tell us that God exists. Have faith in God and things will be done by God for you. Rely on God. That's the devotional approach. And there, of course, one may have skepticism. One may not believe in God. Then the second approach is experience-based approach. Mystical experience. The yogic approach. That you meditate in this way, practice in this way, and you will get an experience which will show you God. Vivekananda asks Ramakrishna, have you seen God? So what is meant there? A mystical experience, a special experience, not normally available to all of us. So when Sri Ramakrishna is having a vision of Kali, it's a mystical experience. By that is proved the truth of religion. As Vivekananda says, if God exists, I should be able to see God. If I have an immortal soul, I should be able to feel it. How? Feel of the immortal soul, see God, how? Only through mystical experience. That's another approach. But this approach is different. This is not a devotional approach. Nothing is meant to be taken on faith here. Nor is, see, the problem with the mystical approach, the yogic approach is that unless you have it, it still is a matter of belief for you then. And it's a very rare thing. Those yogic experiences are rare and difficult, and then also subject to skepticism. Someone might say that you think you're one with the universe, but actually it's a clock in your brain. You think you are seeing a divine light, but it's actually weed. You're a high. A lot of people are seeing divine light in Central Park at around 6 p.m. Especially the number of spiritual experiences have increased since they legalized marijuana. So these are different. You can doubt it. Now contrast this approach with that. The claim here is we are not asking you to believe in anything. In fact, you must not. You must try to understand. It's not like a narcotic which puts you to sleep. Oh, and I heard some nice philosophical things and I heard some nice religious stuff. No. One must try to understand. And not only that, it is not talking about something extraordinary. The beauty of it is, whether extraordinary or ordinary, all of it is based on this one consciousness, which is the claim is it's all the time available to us right now in the midst of our most ordinary experiences. Here, you are sitting there and looking at me, listening to me. That's enough for you to start Vedanta. You don't doubt that none of us doubt this experience. That we are sitting here and having this experience right now of sitting and listening, just being here, that's enough for you to start Vedanta. It's an extraordinary thing. I can't think of another path which, there are close approximates in Tibetan Buddhism, in the path of Dzogchen Buddhism. If you see what is being claimed here, it's incredible. Someone in this day and age, someone like, say, some of our noted atheists, Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, Daniel Dennett, and so on, they would absolutely deny any of that devotional approach. They would say it's just belief, superstition. Even the yogic approach, the mystical experience approach, they would raise big questions about it, whether it does prove anything at all. But at least one of them, Sam Harris, with whom I have had a dialogue recently a few months ago, he is a committed atheist so far. Even now. But he says that there are these two paths at least. The path of Dzogchen Buddhism in Tibetan Buddhism and the path of Advaita Vedanta in Hinduism, which have a core of truth which nobody can deny reasonably. So the highest level of skeptical scrutiny this passes. I'll tell you, I have not come across a single question about this path here, in this path, to which there is not at least a suitably reasonable answer. Even the most complicated skeptical question. So it's something amazing, truly amazing. And it seeks to demonstrate it to you here and now. And then you might say, a lot of talk. Want the talk? Prove it. All right, we'll see. Dikkala Gyanavachinna Anantaya Namaha. Salutations to the infinite. Ananta, limitless. What do you mean by limitless? I'm using two words, infinite and limitless. Infinite is equal to limitless in Sanskrit. Limitless means that which does not have a limit. Anta, the word anta means limit. We just use the word anta, Vedanta, limit or the end, the point of the Vedas. Here it is used in the meaning of limited, cutting off something. So, salutations to that which has no limit at all. What do you mean no limit? So in Vedanta, we speak about three kinds of limits. But not just Vedanta, in basically many schools of Indian philosophy. Limitations, basically in this world, there are limitations of space, time, and object. What do you mean by limitation of space? That some entity is located in some place and means that it's not located in some other place. That means it's limited in space, it's located. Located in space means there is a space where it is, and then the rest of the space it is not. And that's true of every one of us. If you are here in that seat, you're not in that seat. If you are here in this hall, you're not outside. If you are here in the ashram, you are not in New York or anywhere else. You're located in space. If you're here, you're not there. And then there's a limitation in time. This is called limitation in space. There is some space where you are not. In fact, this vast universe, you are not except this one little tiny corner where you are. And that's true of everything, from tiniest of particles to the biggest of galaxies. They're all located in space. There's somewhere it is, and there's some the rest of the space it is not. What would it mean for something to be not located in space? What would it mean for something to be not limited in space? It would mean to be limited in space means there is a space where it is and there's the rest of the space it is not there. If something is not limited in space, it would mean there is no space where it is not there. It is there everywhere. In Sanskrit, Sarvapyapi. In English, all pervasive. You are claiming that there is something that is all pervasive everywhere in space. What is that? We will see. Then another kind of limitation. Kala. Time. Limited in time means there is a beginning in time and an end in time. Everything has a beginning in time and an end in time. We, as these bodies, they are born and they die. So there's a beginning and an end. Before our birth, these bodies did not exist. After our death, these bodies won't exist. Not I'm saying these bodies won't exist. I'm not saying that they will not exist. We should give up that kind of language altogether. So limitation in time means a production and a destruction, beginning and an end, birth and death. This is limitation in time. But suppose something does not have a limitation in time. That's what is being claimed here. Kala anavachinna, not cut off in time. Salutations to that which is not cut off in time. What is not cut off in time? What if something is not cut off in time? What will happen? It's there in all time. There will be no time where it is not. In other words, nityam in English, eternal. Not limited in time, in English, eternal. Then it says, I'm not taking the dick, I'm just taking here the as vastu, as object. Here it just says direction, space, etc. I'm taking it as the classical formulation of space, time, object. Object limitation. This is subtle. So what is interesting though. What is an object limitation? Vastu paricheda, object limitation. What it means is this. It's an interesting idea to wrap our minds around. Everything is itself and different from everything else. This is what is called in logic the law of identity. So this book is a book. It's not a table, it's not a Swami, it's not a mobile phone, it's not a plant, it's not the sky or the earth, it's a book. What is it? It's a book. What is it different from? Everything else. Now, Vedanta says this is a kind of limitation because it's only this poor little thing, it's not anything else. Now, all of us are like that. That's the whole meaning of identity, that we are only this and that makes us different from everybody else and everything else. But that's a limitation, isn't it? You're only limited to one thing. If there is no object limitation, what will happen? What will happen? This is crucial. Object limitation means A is only A and not anything else. B is only B and not anything else. But suppose there is no object limitation, then that one which has no object limitation, nothing will be different from it. What is object limitation? Book is only book and everything is different from it. But suppose this object limitation is not there, then that entity which has no object limitation, there will be nothing different from it. There will be no second entity apart from it. No second, in English, non-dual. In Sanskrit, advaitam, non-dual. So, no object limitation implies non-duality, advaitam. No space limitation implies all-pervasive. No time limitation implies eternal. Salutations to the all-pervasive, salutations to the eternal, salutations to the non-dual. Salutations to the all-pervasive, eternal, non-dual, ananta, infinite reality. That is the meaning of Dikkaladhyanavachinna anantaya namaha. Salutations. Now, what is that which has no limitation in space, no limitation in time, no limitation in object? What is that which is all pervasive, eternal, non-dual? The answer is, wait for it, you. You. You might say that I've been hearing that a lot from this non-dual talk. I am Brahman. Prove it, show me. I'm going to show you right now. Then I'll ask you if you got it or not. This getting it has 3 stages. First stage, and each stage is important. First stage is, have I got the teaching itself? What do I mean by that? What the teacher said, what the text said, can I at least say that back to you? I can summarize it, what you have said. You can claim, I can tell you what you said. I can just, but I can always say that I know what you said, I don't get it. That's all right. But do you know what I said? Do you know what the text said? Often you will be surprised to see how many people only hear bits and pieces and retain even less of what has been said. That's why in the traditional Vedanta classes, they would insist on us memorizing these texts. I won't do that. Drive away whoever is interested. But that still means I have to listen carefully and at least mentally be able to rehearse what was said. That's step 1 of getting it. If you don't do that step 1, the rest is immaterial, pointless. Step 1, you must at least listen carefully. You must at least take accurate notes or have the essence of the teaching. One teacher said nicely, how do you listen? Don't listen like a leaky pot, upside down pot, leaky pot, and dirty pot. Upside down pot is, put it there and you put water on it, nothing stays, it all rolls up the sides. So there are sometimes, not in this group, I'm sure, but sometimes in some group you'll find upside down pot. What did you get out of it? I don't know, something they said was nice. No use. Vedanta is no use for such people. Then there is the leaky pot. You got it. You pour water into a leaky pot, then what happens? It leaks out. After some time, nothing is left. The ability to hold on to at least the main part, even if you don't remember the original Sanskrit. The masters I've seen, they're incredible. Just to remember text after text after text. I'm not saying that makes them enlightened, but that itself is a great capacity. I've seen a master from whom I used to study Vedanta when I was a brahmachari, Veda Chaitanya Maharaj, Damodar Ashram. He was in his mid-90s at that time. He passed away at the age of 105. He was in his mid-90s and he was reading a text. At one point, what he was saying did not match the text. And then later we found that it was a printing mistake in the text. I said, how did you read out the correct? He was almost half blind. He couldn't see what was written there. He was reciting from memory. So even if you don't remember it to that extent, at least the essence, the gist of what has been said should be retained. There's a definition of medha, the word used in Sanskrit, medha, granthartha dharana samarthya, the ability to retain the essence of a text. That's the first. Then there's dirty pot. If you pour water into dirty pot, what happens? It retains it, but the water is polluted. So I've come here with not with a clear intention of learning and advancing in spiritual life and becoming enlightened. No, I've come here. I know what is right and this guy is wrong. I'm here to prove him wrong. Then that's a dirty pot. That will not help. We should come with faith and reverence, so that reverence helps. It helps you to download this teaching that much faster and catch hold of it. See for yourself. This is the beauty of Advaita Vedanta. It says you can see for yourself right here, right now. Consider it. That's the beauty. Other texts might tell you God exists, meditate on God for 50 years, and then let's see what will happen. Then you'll have to just believe it and go on that if you want to. But here, the claim is you can see for yourself straight away. So, listen like that. The second step of first step is listening. Not like dirty pot, not like empty pot, not like upside down pot. Listen carefully. And you should be able to say, I can tell you what the teaching is. The second step is questioning. So I know what the teaching is, but there are these parts of it, I don't get it. And I can ask questions. That's what we will do now, a little later. And then the third part of it is, all right, I know what the teaching is, and I also get it. My doubts have been resolved. But still not a living truth for me. I can't honestly claim to be enlightened. My life has not been transformed. As you originally promised, you go over all, you will transcend suffering, attain fulfillment. But I haven't attained fulfillment. I still feel suffering in various forms. In that case, what we have acquired by listening, what we have understood by questioning, reasoning, we must stay with it in meditation, with Vedantic meditation, so that it becomes a living truth for us. Listening, reasoning, meditation. Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Three steps to getting it. Okay? Really getting it, becoming enlightened. Okay. The next part is really important. Here is where we try to make it evident here and now, what is being talked about. Namah Chinmatra Murtaye. I salute consciousness alone. I salute consciousness alone. What is being said here? Notice that you, yourself, you exist right now. Nobody has any doubt there. That was the philosopher Descartes' great discovery, that you can doubt the existence of everything, but you cannot doubt your own existence. Right? We cannot doubt our own existence. Nobody can. You can doubt everything. All of this might be a dream. It might be the Matrix movie you're sitting in. Could be. In fact, according to latest cognitive research and all, it probably is. Donald Hoffman and all, they're just saying that the brain is constantly rendering reality for us. It must be something like that, because clearly we are not in direct touch with reality. We are in touch with reality through our senses. Our senses are getting in data from outside, and that is again heavily processed, and a picture is built up for us, visual, auditory, spatial, and all of that in the brain. So literally we are inhabiting a virtual representation of some kind of reality done by our brains. All right. But I exist, the experiencer of these experiences. Nobody can doubt that. The experiences, objects can be doubted. The contents of your experience you can doubt whether they're really there or not. But you cannot doubt your own. Even in a dream, when you wake up from the dream, you say that all of it was a dream. It was only a dream. Dismiss it all. But you don't dismiss that you saw the dream. That you cannot dismiss. You exist now. Even in a dream, you exist. Vedanta will say, even in deep sleep, that's also an experience. It's not an absence of experience. It's an experience of absence. Deep sleep. And you, the experiencer, the basic awareness is always present there. Right now, with your eyes open, you're looking at all of this. The eyes open, I am. I am. This I am awareness is there. Suppose I close my eyes. Now I cannot see anything. Remember, all of this is based entirely on our experience right now. With my closed eyes, I cannot see anything. But can I doubt my own existence? What do you think? You try it yourself. Close. Is the world, are you experiencing the world? No. Are you seeing the world? No. I won't say experiencing. You are experiencing. But are you seeing the world? No. But are you there? Say, yes, I am there. Now, suppose I stop hearing. Are you still there? No. I can't see and hear, but I am there. Suppose I stop smelling, tasting, touching. So I have no sensory experience of the world. They have something called sensory deprivation tanks. Are you still there? Or have you disappeared? No, you're still there. You exist. All right. Suppose your memories, our memories go away. I can't remember what happened yesterday, day before, just 10 minutes ago. I can't remember. It happens. Sometimes in old age it happens. Does that mean you are not there anymore? Does that mean you're not there anymore? No. You're very much there. You're aware of the memory not being sharp, the memory not functioning. We have our oldest member, Bill, who's 99 years, this year 100 years. So he's saying, Swami, my memory is not what it used to be. I said, I'm half your age, and my memory is not what it used to be. So you are fine. Your memory is not keen, but you are fine. You still exist. Even if memory fails, you still exist. If you shut down feelings, neither very pleasant nor very unpleasant, neutral feelings, are you still there? I am. And if you shut down all kinds of thoughts, no thought, I am. So this I am is there in spite of whether there are thoughts and emotions and perceptions, and if there are no perceptions, thoughts and emotions, the I am is still there. If there are no thoughts, you cannot say I am, but you still exist. If you don't pop in and out of existence because of one thought. Okay. Notice, when these experiences are present, this I am is continuous. Without these experiences, this I am is there. And when these experiences are present, when you are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, I am is constant. What you are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting keeps changing. When we are thinking, remembering, feeling, all internal, understanding, or not understanding, not feeling, forgetting, I am is constant. What we understand, feel, remember, these keep changing, but the I am is the same and unchanging. All through our actions, when I'm walking and talking and driving, I am. When I'm enjoying and suffering, I am. And it's the same I am. Interesting. It's the same I am in the midst of enjoyment, it's the same I am in the midst of suffering. It's the same I am in all our waking experiences. It's the same I am in all our dream experiences. It's the same I am in the blankness of deep sleep. It's just that you can't say I am there, you can't think it. But you are there because to you the blankness is presented. I mean, what is deep sleep? Right now, if you close your eyes and imagine you're not hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking anything, feeling anything, remembering anything, even drop the idea of I, that's deep sleep, you're still there. If you start thinking in your mind and not seeing anything externally, that's a dream state. If you open your eyes, that's the waking state. All throughout, I am, all throughout. In waking, dreaming, deep sleep, I am. The same I am continues. Now, let me point this out. In the, when you say this is not limited in space, not limited in time, what is meant there is actually space and time are experienced in that I am. Think about it. Nicely, it's put there. This thing was being taught to a group of monks in Himalayas in Haridwar. So one monk sitting at the back of the hall said, when the teacher said, "You are all pervasive consciousness," the monk said, "Just a minute. I am here and not there, and you are there and not here. How can I be everywhere?" In Hindi, he said, "मैं यहाँ वहाँ नहीं, तो कैसे सर्वत्र कैसे हुआ? I am here, I am not there. So how can I be all pervasive?" And the teacher answered, follow the answer carefully. He said, but there and here, are they not both in you? Think about it. I'm not talking about the body. I'm just talking about awareness. Even the sense idea of here and there, both are appearing in awareness. Look at it this way. In our dreams, suppose you're standing there in a big field, looking at people close to you and things far away from you and the sky far above. All that near you and far away from you, when you wake up, what will happen? You'll realize all of that was in your mind. The idea of space here and there was in your mind. Your mind itself generated that entire virtual world of here and there. This idea of here and there is just because of our perceptual speed. This body and the perceptions here, this makes it close to us, that is far away from us. But close to this and far away from this, both are, if you take a stand in as consciousness, as awareness, you'll see it is in awareness these things are appearing. Similarly for time. So the claim here is that time and space are all appearances in that awareness. If time and space are all appearances in that awareness, then in all of space, that awareness is there. In all of time, that awareness is there. In that sense, awareness is all pervasive and eternal. Being beyond time, awareness is eternal. Being beyond space, awareness is all pervasive. It sounds heavy duty, but it's not actually. You use the dream example, you'll get it just like that. In dreams, we construct our own time and space. And everything in that time and space we pervade. Now, one question here, if you have followed me so far, one question here might be, just a minute. Awareness, you're saying awareness is everywhere. If awareness is everywhere, why am I not aware of everything? If my awareness pervades everything, can you tell me that what's outside the hall right now? But Awareness being everywhere and knowledge of everything is different. Think about it this way. If in your dreams, in our dreams, we imagine a whole world, right? We are in the middle of a world, we are talking to people, there are people around us, there are things far away from us, things near us, and we have the sensation, the idea that we are surrounded by a whole world, unknown and unseen around us. Just like right now. In our dreams, we never have this experience that only this much exists. Because it's a dream, only this much exists. Nothing else exists outside. No, we feel it's just like the waking world. We don't even doubt it. So, in the dream, we have an experience of a known world and something unknown existing apart from what I know right now. In our dreams, what does it feel like? I am here, I am seeing these people, I'm hearing this much, this is the limit of my knowledge, and beyond this, lot of things are there which I don't know. Maybe if I go there, I will see. Another example is a virtual reality. A virtual reality, those who have played video games in a virtual environment, so you are in a room. And the virtual reality also provides you other things outside the room. There are things there outside. And if you take your character there, you will see those things also. They'll be rendered for you. And the computer is rendering those environments as you go further and further. That's what a virtual reality does. Here the claim is it's exactly like that. In awareness, some part of it is known. Whatever is presented to awareness through your eyes, ears, nose and all, that much you know. And in awareness, the rest of it exists as the unknown. If you go and investigate there through your senses and your science, you will know that much also. But all of it is still there in your awareness. Let me put it this way. This entire universe exists in you, the awareness. And by I mean you, I mean the awareness. I don't mean body only. The body exists in that awareness. Mind also exists in that awareness. Universe exists in that awareness. It exists as the known and the unknown. Let me give you another example to drive home this point. Our same person, Bill, who's 100 years old now, he's a retired physicist. So, and a Second World War veteran. He used to fly bombers over the Pacific Ocean in 1940s. So he said, no, Swami, I don't accept this thesis that everything is in consciousness. It's a kind of idealism. I don't accept that. This room, we are actually sitting, this room exists whether we are aware of it or not. It exists separately. That's our common sense approach. Let me put a camera there. To give an example, let me put a camera here. We'll take pictures of this room. Both of us will leave this room. And when we come back, I will show you the camera showing the empty room existing without us. So it's not that the room exists because we are seeing it. It exists by itself. It does not exist because in our minds only or in consciousness only. So I said to him, Bill, in your awareness, you set up this camera. In your awareness, both of us left this room. In your awareness, both of us came back into this room. In your awareness, we examined the pictures in this camera showing an empty room. At which point did you jump out of your awareness? Or can you even jump out of your awareness? You can't. It's a very simple point, but it's a little difficult to wrap your mind around, which I'm making. But once you get it, it's blindingly obvious. There are some now who are beginning to veer around to this point of view. They're called, in modern philosophy, they're called panpsychists. David Chalmers, Bernardo Castro, Donald Hoffman, among the people I've spoken to recently. And it's interesting, they come to it from a different perspective, not from the Advaita Vedanta perspective. They come to it from cognitive science, from the philosophy of mind. So, very modern, very non-theistic, non-spiritual perspectives, but they're coming to the same conclusions. So consciousness is not limited by space-time object. Consciousness is that in which space appears, time appears, objects appear. Therefore, consciousness is, with respect to this universe, it is all-pervasive, eternal, and non-dual. Consciousness, by consciousness, I do not mean our thinking, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Here's another clarification I must make. It pertains to this. Chinmatra mutra, consciousness alone. This is a very interesting term used. Chit means consciousness. Matra means only. Consciousness only. What do you mean by consciousness only? It's this. It's an important distinction. What do we mean by consciousness in our usual dictionary sense? English consciousness, or in consciousness studies, or in cognitive science. What is meant by consciousness is hearing, talking, thinking, remembering, enjoying, suffering, all our conscious experiences. That's what's meant by consciousness. Vedanta makes a distinction there. Vedanta will say, not only Vedanta, Buddhism, some schools of Buddhism, Sankhya, Vedanta, make a distinction. What you're talking about when you say thinking, hearing, imagining, feeling, you are talking about a mixture of consciousness and mind and senses. The way to isolate, to understand consciousness alone, chin matra, consciousness alone, is to remove or to distinguish consciousness from its objects, to distinguish consciousness from its contents. How do you do that? Simple rule. In your own experience, you can apply it right now. Whatever is designated as this in your experience is an object, a content of consciousness. It's not consciousness. Let me repeat. If there's something in your consciousness right now, in your experience right now, which you can designate as this, then it's an object. It's a content of consciousness. It's not consciousness. Consciousness is that which is experiencing this. So this table, is it consciousness? No. This, therefore not consciousness. Okay, this shirt, is it consciousness? No. This, therefore not consciousness. This body, is it consciousness? This hand. Well, I said this, therefore not consciousness. All right, make it more subtle. Draw it back closer. You can do it in your own experience. Breathing in, breathing out. Is this breath consciousness? Did you say this? Then it's not consciousness. It's an object. Now we'll enter into a gray area, an interesting area. Thoughts, which all consciousness studies, modern consciousness studies, and a dictionary meaning of consciousness will say it's consciousness, thought. But can you say this thought I had, this unpleasant feeling I had, this wonderful feeling I had, this? Therefore, those are contents of consciousness. They are objects. They are not consciousness. Are you with me? And you can try it yourself. What is consciousness? That which is giving us the experience of these thoughts. That which is giving us the experience of that breath. That which is giving us the experience of this hand, of this shirt and this table. So what is the connection between consciousness only and our conscious experiences? It's the same connection between sunlight and moonlight. Is moonlight sunlight? In a certain sense it is. It is the sunlight which bounces off the moon and then illumines the earth at night. It is pure consciousness alone which illumines the mind and the senses and gives us these experiences. That is true. But by the time we are having these experiences, we have got in those experiences, the object of the experience is there, the instrument of the experience is there, and the mind is also there, the borrowed consciousness is also there, and of course the original consciousness, pure consciousness is there. But when you say chin matra, consciousness only, you mean only consciousness, pure consciousness. It's like looking at the world illumined by moonlight at night and then trying to understand what sunlight is. Here it's even more direct because here, according to Vedanta, you are that sunlight. Upanishad says, Tameva bhantam anuhati sarvam. That shining, everything else shines. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. By its light, everything here is lit up. You shining, everything else shines. Everything else means mind shines, senses shine, and the world shines. Shines means experience, revealed. By your light, or more precisely, by you, the light, everything here is lit up. Everything means mind is lit up, senses are lit up, body is lit up, and the world is lit up. So you are that light. Chin matra bhutai, consciousness only. All right, we have gone far beyond time. I think it's important to break for some questions. You might be a little exhausted by all this heavy duty stuff. Just one word about. All right. I mean, this actually requires 1 or 2 classes. We will take it up a little more next time. Let's just remember the next line, second line. Swanubhutye kamanaya shantaya tejasena. That will. But remember, this is the namaha. The salutation is connected with each of these terms, and each of these terms is a gateway to realizing who we are. unlimited by time, space, object, salutations to myself. To the limitless, infinite, salutations to myself. To the pure consciousness, salutations to myself. That which is revealed by my own experience all the time, salutations to myself. That which is beyond all suffering, Shanta, salutations to myself. That which is pure radiance, salutations to myself. Namaha. All right, let's take up a few observations, questions. Just in case I forget something next time, we'll do it again next time, but it's what this observation. Just notice, when I said, the eyes open to you exist, what exists clearly you can see. With the eyes closed, you cannot see the word, but in both cases, I am. With your eyes closed, with your ears closed, no sense. I'm not seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. I am. I am not enjoying suffering. I am. I am not thinking, remembering, desiring, hating. I am. I am not trying to understand nor be confused. I am. This I am by itself. Does it have any desires? Just by itself, this I am. Without regard to world, body, senses, mind also, memory also. Put it out. Just the I am by itself. Does it have any desires? Does it have any complaints? Is it expecting anything, enlightenment or something like that? Is it waiting for something? Is it not the same I am which is there when eyes are open, ears are open? Is it not the same I am which is there right now? Every problem, every hassle is brought to us by the activity of the mind and the senses. Again, presented by the same I am. By itself, you have no problem at all. That's an interesting insight. There's a deeper meaning to it. This is the Sankhyan insight, not even Advaitic. The Advaitic insight will be that when you are with your eyes open and experiencing the world, this world is also not apart from that I am. It's that I am alone which is appearing as this world. That's what Advaita will say. All right.
Thank you. My name is Dola, and my question is, I am not entirely clear, and that is my shortcoming here, about the difference with this consciousness or awareness in the mind or the soul.
Yes.
How are they different?
How is consciousness different from the mind? From the mind, right? Yes. So use the principle which I just said, which I just gave you. Whatever you can designate, which we can say, this is not this consciousness. So in the mind, what is the mind? Thoughts, emotions, memories, judgments. You can always say this thought I have got, this idea I have got, this memory I have got. Those are not consciousness. They are objects presented to consciousness. Consciousness is that which is experiencing those objects. Why are we finding it difficult to separate the two? It's because in all our experience, all throughout, even now, we have a mixture of consciousness and mind all the time. Otherwise, you can't have experience. Mind provides the objects. Consciousness provides the experiencer. This is a Sankhyan insight. You, the consciousness, you are the experiencer. And the mind is providing you the objects. What is providing the objects? The world is providing the objects, but not by itself. None of these forms would be provided to you, the consciousness, without your eyes. None of these sounds would be provided to you, the consciousness, without your ears. So the senses, it's not that the world outside plus your senses. But not just the senses and the world. If the mind were asleep, senses are there, word is there, sound may be there also, you may not hear. Often happens in Vedanta class, person is asleep. Ears are there, Vedanta talk is going on, does not hear. Why? Mind is necessary. So finally, everything, the entire world is presented to you, the consciousness, in the mind. Unless something enters your mind, it cannot reach you. So the mind presents the universe to you. That up to the mind is the universe. Mind, senses, body, world, everything is the universe. But you are the consciousness which is experiencing. Notice, the universe is object. It is always experienceable. But you are not an object. You cannot experience yourself as an object. That's why it's difficult to understand what consciousness is, because our understanding operates on objects in the world. It does not operate on consciousness itself. But you are always, you say, but if this is so, how do I know this consciousness exists? The next word, that's why we couldn't get to it. So, Anubhuti Ekamanaya, the only proof is your own experience. Which experience? Every experience. Every experience proves to you that you are consciousness. Without consciousness, no experience is possible. In fact, this is the hard problem of consciousness. David Chalmers is talking about it nowadays. So that is consciousness, pure consciousness by itself. Normally, what we mean by consciousness is consciousness plus mind. Yes. Yes. Can you get the microphone here? Tell us your name. So all this will be recorded and will be available later on for discussion.
Pranam Mala.
Tell us your name and ask the question.
My name is Uma Krishnamurthy.
Yeah. Hold it near your mouth, the microphone.
The question is, when you are disconnected from sense objects, you are able to hold on to these lofty ideas of that there's awareness which is pure and all that. But on a practical basis, you come back, you see, I'm giving a practical, I see the room in a house, the house is in the mess. All this lofty idea is gone, and your
house cleaning instinct takes over.
your anger or irritation is what surfaces. So how do you, the idea of all this to make yourself a better person. So how do you handle, because when you're disconnected from sense objects, you're able to hold on. The more you're back to the sense objects, then
it's a very good and very deep question. The house cleaning question. That is samsara. That is samsara. However, what does Advaita? It's really profound. This question one must deal with in Advaita. It's only in Advaita you get an answer to this. Only in Advaita. Why? In the devotional mode, I am devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. The more advanced you are as a devotee, the more you will be absorbed in Sri Ramakrishna, in Sri Rama, in Krishna, in Kali, to the exclusion of the world. The more you are a meditative person, the more you will shut out the world and remain in. Once you get the joy of meditation, there's nothing greater, more peaceful and profound than being absorbed in stillness. None of them work so well when you're directly confronted with the world. Only Advaita has the answer. How? All right. What Advaita says, so I'll answer your question in yes and no. First the no, then the yes. No. You can confront the house cleaning problem very well with Advaita and only with Advaita. How? What Advaita will show you is that whatever exists in the world is nothing apart from you, this I am. This I am alone appears as your dream, as the blankness in deep sleep, as the dreams in your dream field, and as the waking world in your waking experience. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, all cycle back and forth in that I am. Therefore, there is not one object here. Just as there is not one object in the dream, not one person in the dream, which is apart from you, the dreaming mind. That we understand. Similarly, what Advaita will try to convince us is that there is not one object here, not one person here, not one event here, which is apart from me, the consciousness. It is I alone which I am appearing as this, as ocean appears as waves. Not one wave is apart from that water of the ocean. Every person here is you, the consciousness. Every object is here is the you, the consciousness. So the experience of the world is the experience of Brahman. If you are enlightened, the experience of this world is the experience of Brahman. The experience of the scattered and dirty room is the experience of Brahman. And the consequent urge to clean up things is the experience of Brahman. And the execution in the neat and tidy room is the experience of Brahman. And the consequent feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. It's nice until the next cycle of cleaning. That is the experience of Brahman, and so on. All the time, the experience of Brahman is available to you in peace, in fulfillment, in aggravation, in the midst of unpleasantness. That one blessed stream of awareness, not stream, that radiance, that Namat Tejase Shantaya. It's there all the time. Now, your question you might ask here is, but my question was, that seems clear, and when it is clear, I can handle it. But when I'm confronted with it's not clear, it goes away. No, it doesn't. Your name is Uma. But now you are listening to Vedanta class, thinking carefully. If I ask you, you're Uma, you say, yeah, I'm Uma. When you're confronted by that messy house, if someone asks you, who are you? You say, I'm Uma. It's available to you all the time. Your identity as Uma, my identity as Swami is available to me all the time. Not that I'm always thinking about it, but if I'm asked, I'll tell you immediately. It's constantly, effortlessly available to me. Your nature as limitless consciousness is constantly, effortlessly available to you. When called upon, you see it is so. When will you call upon it? As a good practice to call upon it all the time. At the very least, call upon it when you are in trouble. When it's a difficult situation, when the room, the house is messy. You call upon it, and you say, yes, of course. Even this messy house and the irritation in my mind, both are appearances in me, the consciousness. Now what will I do? Will I leave it messy? No, I'll deal with it. I'll clean it up. Notice, to be spiritual is not to be lackadaisical and casual and, not do what is expected of you. Sri Ramakrishna, excellent demonstration. When he would be in samadhi, he would not be aware whether the cloth is on his body. Often to the discomfiture of others, his cloth would slip away. Yet when he was in externalized consciousness, just like us, he would be very particular about everything being clean and kept in its own place, whole place being spick and span. He once asked one of the visitors, a young boy who later became a monk, go there and you'll see there's a tree and there's a picnic has been there, and under a pile of vegetable dressings you will find my pen knife, bring it back. So he went and he found it and he brought it back. He said, how did you know it was there? He said, a man came to me and this morning, and he had come to the Dakshineshwar temple garden for a picnic. And he said, oh sir, we have come for a picnic. They didn't even know who Sri Ramakrishna was. Well, he must be blessed, yet he's got the darshan of Sri Ramakrishna. I have come for a picnic, but we forgot to get the knife to cut the vegetables. Can we borrow a knife from you? And Sri Ramakrishna said, it's there, take it. And I realized this person who has forgotten to get a knife for the picnic will definitely forget to return the knife to me. The moment he has dressed the vegetables, cut the vegetables, he put it there, it will be under the vegetables and cut. Exactly that thing happened. He was so precise about his day-to-day life. You can maintain a perfectly spick and span home and demand those standards and be a fully enlightened person also. The test is that nature as limitless consciousness available to you instantly, effortlessly. So this is the no. You don't have to, it's not that you lose the sight of your real nature. Once you've got it. If you've not got it, it will not be available to you anytime, whether it's a clean house or a messy house. Now, second, I will agree with you that yes, you are right. When you are distant from the world and the sense perceptions and the ups and downs of the mind, then you can still yourself in the understanding that you are awareness. And that's why in the initial stages, at our stage, it's good to set aside time for practice, time for study, time for reflection, and time especially for meditation. What did he say? If I'm closing my eyes, I still exist. That's true. If I do not hear, smell, taste, touch, think, I'm still there. That's true. This is a good practice. So you must keep aside time for spiritual practice, whether it is bhajan, devotional practices, whether it is meditative practices, or whether it's the self-inquiry. Yes, initial stages, you're right. We must step aside. Who was it? Shakespeare. The world is too much with us. Shakespeare or Wordsworth? I keep forgetting. No, world is too much with us. That line. No, world should not be too much with us, especially for spiritual seekers. Tell us your name and ask the question.
Switch it on. Just hold it. Press. With the light on. Yes.
Namaste, Swamiji. My name is Sonali. One quick technical question.
Yes.
Here in the verse it says Chinmatra Murtiye,
Hmm.
right? So that's embodiment of pure consciousness. What is the
That might be the straightforward meaning. But Murtaya means the only form of that ultimate reality is consciousness. So Murti does not mean here a physical Murti.
Yeah.
Not like this, not like this Murti, not like that.
Yeah.
Murtaya means the only form in which that ultimate reality is accessible is pure consciousness. Consciousness only. In Uttarakhand, in Himalayas, Benares, monks, so when they go out to invite monks for, the monks have feasts called bhandaras. So when one ashram invites monks from other ashrams, they will go out and ask, Kitne murti hain? How many murtis are there? So you're all forms of the divine. You're all murtis. Murti means a form of the divine.
Sorry, one quick extension of what Uma was asking. So when we do realize that all the problems, so-called problems in the world are also the embodiment or manifestation of
the
me,
one
myself,
consciousness, you yourself. Yes.
right? So then there could be two approaches to it. On one hand, it could become that it isn't a problem anymore, right? You tend to sort of ignore it or take it lightly. Like life becomes light in some sense.
Yes.
Right? And on the other hand, exactly like you said, that we can be all gung-ho about solving all the problems, but realizing at every point of time that it is nothing but me, myself,
Yes.
showing up in this form.
Showing up in this form. And it will not stop.
And it will not
It will not stop.
Right.
It's something, some waves will be there in the ocean. Only that you'll be fine with it.
Right.
You'll be fine with youth and middle age and old age. You'll be fine with health and disease and even death. Physical death also will come and go. You know it's nothing to you. It's just the waves settling down again, back into the ocean. You are the ocean itself. What does it matter to you?
Yeah.
Tell us your name and ask the question.
Hello. Am I audible? Yeah. Swami, I'm Kiriti Chakravarti. So this whole thing of consciousness which comes from Upanishad and all is supposed to help us move on in life in a much better way.
Yes, that's the whole point.
That's the whole goal. It's not about not doing things as we understand. So it all comes from that basic truth that if you understand this consciousness and non-duality, then day-to-day things which perturb us, the contradictions, you'll be able to deal with it in much better way. So,
in a much better way, correct.
and I'm just correlating it with Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was into this big contradiction, almost in the same way, then Lord Krishna actually at a point shows the Virat Roop, which is like everything is me. Is that also another way of saying that I am the consciousness and the non-duality is also the same thing? I'm just thinking, is that
correct? That's correct. There it is shown a slightly dualistic way because Arjuna is seeing Krishna as everything, as Vishwarupa. Here it's going much further. It is saying you are this Vishwarupa. This universe is you. Not you, that person, Kiriti, but you, the awareness which has put on the mask of the mind and the body of Kiriti there. So you got the same awareness which has put on that mask there and that mask there. In fact, even the chair you're sitting on in the room you're sitting in, the sky, earth, fire, air, water, all of this is you, that one consciousness. That's what it is saying. And when we have this vision in the sense, this worldview, even a little of this, it says, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Even a little of this understanding, of this spiritual insight, saves one from great fear. We are driven by fear in this world. It saves you from great fear. There's nothing in this world which can hurt you, the reality. It can hurt the body. And nothing in this world which can kill you. You are immortal. In fact, you're the only thing that is immortal in this world. In this world of change, you're the only thing that is beyond change.
There's someone there.
You wanted to ask a question? Tell us your name and ask the question.
Hello, I'm Casey.
Hold it down. The light that.
Is the light on?
Hello, I'm Casey.
No.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but
Okay. I'll just say it. So I just had a question about like knowledge of Brahman. So it seems like knowledge is an experience. So how is knowledge of Brahman not an experience, like an object of consciousness?
Yes, yes. So there's a question that you're asking. First of all, is knowledge an experience? Absolutely. Everything is an experience to us, so including knowledge. It's just something that is revealed by consciousness, that flash of understanding, that insight. Now, knowledge of Brahman also will be an experience. The very simple proof of that is, if you ask, do you have the realization, the enlightenment that you are Brahman? And if most of us, except the fortunate few, will say that, no, I don't, I'm trying, but I don't have it. So clearly, it's something that we are waiting for. It's something that's not continuously present. It's something that will come. If it's something that comes, it must be an experience. Even knowledge is an experience episode, let's put it that way. But whatever is an experience comes in the stream of things and goes away. What that knowledge of Brahman, that moment of enlightenment will do, will remove the ignorance about my nature as Brahman and show me the ever-present, ever-effulgent, ever-available, effortlessly, instantaneously available nature of myself as Brahman. Actually, notice this thing. I am always available to myself. It's just that I don't, Vedanta says, I don't know the real dimensions of myself. I don't know what I am. I think I'm this person, Sarvapriyanandaji. And Vedanta is saying that no, you're limitless consciousness. The moment of enlightenment will be a particular experience, no doubt about it. In the Vedanta, it's called Brahmakala Vritti, that flash of enlightenment. It will remove this cloud which is in front of my eyes, this veil in front of my eyes, metaphorically speaking. And then something that has always been there will become obvious to me. We have these moments of epiphany in our lives once in a while. This is the greatest and most final of epiphanies. What is called Brahman, Allah, God, the ultimate reality, Tao, whatever it is continuously available to us here and now and effulgently all the time. It's that which is making possible all our experiences right now. That was not clear to me. So that one is not an experience. It's the ground of all experiences. Brahman itself is not an experience. It's the ground of all experiences. It's not one particular experience. It's that which makes all experience possible. But the particular moment of insight, it will come and it will go away that moment also. But before and after will be a world of difference. After it will, like the veils are lifted forever, and you now know, really you see for the first time. What Vivekananda called the open secret. It was always there. We didn't see it for what it was. It's like the washerman's diamond. I've mentioned this number of times. The washerman who got a diamond, he didn't know what a diamond was. He was using it to scrub dirty laundry. And then one day he asked his friend, the vegetable seller, what is this strange rock? It's not like other rocks. So I'm using it. It serves its purpose to clean laundry. The vegetable seller said, oh, it's a special rock. I'll give you 10 rupees for it. But he didn't sell it, luckily. And he waited until finally he went to the diamond merchant who said, it's the most magnificent diamond I've seen. So he sells it and he gets enough money to remove all his wants forever. And that's the parable. The diamond we already have as this limitless consciousness, this awareness which we are. But we are using it to scrub laundry. What are we doing? We are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. We are desiring, hating, enjoying, suffering in life, being born, dying, waking, dreaming, deep sleep. This is what it is giving us all the time. The endless fulfillment which it could give us, it requires that moment of the diamond merchant telling us, this is a diamond. If you cash it in, you are going to get limitless, fulfillment and transcend all sorts. So yes, this is urgent. Vedanta is pointing out, see, if it was something like at the end of your life you will see God, or after death you'll go to heaven and see God. Well, we have time. Let's do our stuff till now. But Vedanta is telling us it's here, right now, all the time. You can take your time, but it will always be there. All you need to do is, number one, recognize it. That recognition is an experience. The moment of the diamond merchant telling you, this is what it is. And then you cash it in the sense what is cashing it in? You recognize its trouble-free nature, its peaceful nature, its nature as fulfillment. When you say, Namah Shantaya, I salute that tremendous, unfathomable peace. It's Easter, so peace that passeth understanding. That which is my real nature. Tell us your name and ask the question.
Hold that down. Bible, come on.
Pronounce Maharaj. My name is Purnima. I've been wondering about this for quite some time. It's a very fundamental question. So, whatever you say makes sense, logically makes perfect sense. But let's say to stabilize my knowledge, I'm sitting in meditation and I have the samadhi experience. And I've never had one. But if I come out of it, will my experience be any different from anybody else in a different path? It should not be if it's the real open secret, right?
Brahman will not be any different because you had an experience of samadhi. So you, as Brahman, it's always the same. But your experience is always conditioned by your mind. And a mind which has passed through samadhi will be much more pure and peaceful, definitely. So your appreciation of your real nature as Brahman will be that much deeper.
But it's still going to be colored by whatever I've learned before that time.
Certainly.
So every enlightened person, whatever they've gone through, according to that is what they're going to teach.
But remember, the recognition or the realization of the reality, once they have that with the help of the teaching, then it's no longer colored by the teaching. Then they begin to realize even the teaching, the enlightenment, and the present experience is all made possible by that one radiant, that one limitless consciousness. That is so obvious, it does not require the teachings anymore. I don't have to hold on to a scaffolding of teachings in order to intuit the realization of God, Brahman. No longer. You can kick away. That's why the Upanishads say, Yatra Veda Aveda Bhavanti. There, the Vedas become no Vedas. The only textual tradition which says you can dismiss all of this once you are enlightened.
So how is it we have a Sankhya and Advaita Vedanta? How is it two different interpretations of the same truth?
Two different interpretations. Why only Sankhya? Sankhya and Advaita are actually pretty close that way. But there is Nyaya and Vaisheshika and there are both. My feeling is, if you look at it from that perspective, you sort of begin to get why people thought in these different ways. And why, from my, again, I'm speaking as very biased Advaitic, is that this is sort of the end game. This is sort of finishing school. Then even the Nyaya, I was thinking about it, the Nyaya understanding of the Atman as having no consciousness, just existence without consciousness, makes sense. Think about it. There is no, in itself, there is no thought, feeling, emotion, idea, which is normally we consider to be consciousness. Then isn't the Nayayika justified in thinking of the Atman as having no consciousness at all? Yes, why not? That which is beyond deep sleep. How much beyond so-called consciousness it is? You can only say it is. Nayayika is right there. So all of them had good insights. And you can see how all of them touched that reality or intuited that reality and then tried to explain it in this way and through a framework or philosophical framework. Advaita, I consider it sort of a finishing school in spirituality. That's why Advaita is not particularly missionary. People, when they struggle with this, take your time. Want to explore other things? Some say, can I go to mindfulness, vipassana? Absolutely. Knock yourself out. Go there and do mindfulness meditation. If that satisfies you, well and good. This is finishing school. And yet it need not be. Sri Ramakrishna says this is beginning. This is the basis. Make this the basis of your spiritual life. It's so direct, so easy, directly accessible and available to us. Why not start with this? Actually, once you begin to get an idea of what they are talking about here, all the rest seem unnecessarily complicated. And with huge amounts of beliefs mixed into it. All the rest. Especially the theistic devotional paths. Enormous amounts of belief mixed in there. And all sweet and beautiful, but also a lot of cultural conditioning there. Notice, this is something available to persons belonging to every religion and a person who denies religion completely, like Sam Harris. He loves Advaita Vedanta. So, anybody else? All right.
out of time.
We're out of time. We'll wrap it up today. I think that was a good session. Would you agree?
Yes.
All right, good. Do turn up. I will make one or two more comments about this verse. Actually, the application of this verse. This is just the first verse. And then we will sort of hop, skip, and jump into a couple of other verses in the next class, which is coming up shortly, actually, in the middle of 15th of April. 20th of April. 20th of April, Saturday, 20th of April.
Which verses will you be taking next time? That we just read.
I'll tell you next time. Yeah. Verses and some notes also. Yeah. Today it was sort of beginning at the end, at the top, but then we'll go through it more slowly. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.